I'm tying up another Carrie Stevens streamer from the Hilliard book today. This is called the Green Weaver. It's a basic Carrie Stevens streamer fly. No tail on this. There's a tag, no orange floss body, olive hackles in the wing, and a white, and then olive throat. Pretty straightforward, but a fun fly. So that's the Green Weaver. I'll get started tying. So I'm going to start the Green Weaver with my hook already in vise. Gone ahead and put a base layer of thread down. Just to speed things up a little bit, the hook is a Partridge CS15 in a size 4. The base thread that I'm using right here is a Danville 3/0 monocord in white. There's an orange floss body on the Green Weaver, so we want to start with a white thread. There is no tail on this. There is just a tag and then the body and the rib. The rib and the tag are a silver tinsel floss. I'm using a Danville silver and gold Mylar tinsel in a size 10. Because of the fact that there's no tail, I can attach the tinsel back here. This is wrapping it down where the tag is going to be. And then I'll come back up and tie in the floss. I can apply the floss body and then apply the tag and the rib all at the same time. Kind of helps to speed things up a little bit. For the body, it's just I'm using a Danville 4-strand Rayon in orange. I want to make certain you get plenty of floss, usually about 13 inches or so for the body here, because there's a lot of wraps. You don't want to come up short right at the very end. Secure that in and continue wrapping up the hook shank, binding in that tag end of that floss, so I end up with a nice smooth underbody. And once I get all the way up to the end of the body, I can apply that floss and then the tinsel tag and rib. The floss body and the rib all applied, I'm going to change my thread to an orange thread. The head on the green weaver is black with an orange stripe. I'm using a Uni Thread 8/0 in orange. I do this, and I've mentioned this in other videos if you've watched any of my other videos. I do this because it's easier. Actually, I think you get better results by having the orange on first and applying the black bands to the front and back of the head, as opposed to trying to put an orange band on the black. The orange ends up being much darker. So with my thread attached, I'm right here at the end of the body. I'm going to tie in the underbelly. The underbelly is just some white bucktail. You're going to clean this up a little bit, get any stray hairs out, maybe any real short ones. Then we're going to tie this in so it just goes a little bit past the bend of the hook. During that, on the underside of the hook shank, I'll trim away the excess. Then I'll apply the throat. Throat on the green weaver is just some Olive Hackle. Often I use Schlappen on these flies, but I don't have any Olive Schlappen. At least in my experience, it's not a color that is called for often in these types of flies, so probably why I don't have any. Anyway, in a number of videos lately, I've been showing you how you can use actually just the long fibers from one of these hackles that you use for the wing. The one stubborn little hair right there. Let me get that flipped out there. So for the wing on the green weaver, it's 4 Olive Hackles, and I've got this is a whiting rooster cape dyed olive. And what you can do is you can use one of the longer, broader feathers, get the fluff off the end, and then you can just take clumps of barbs like this. They're nice and soft. They work great for a throat. It's the olive color you're looking for. Now, if you do this right, you can actually prep a whole bunch of clumps for the throat. And then you've got these feathers left over that you can put together for a wing. If not, you can just get what you need out and save these for some other project. So I have 3 clumps already prepped here. Clean up this throat, the belly just a little bit. I got a few hairs kind of going wild. I'm going to tie these in. There's going to be one right on the underside. The throat goes down halfway down the body. I'm tying one in on the underside, and then there's going to be one on both sides. Smooth this area off here for our wing. This is just to trap any of those butt ends from the throat and the belly. But I'm going to smooth this off, and it'll give me a nice platform for tying in our wing. The wing consists of 4 to 6 strands of peacock herl. I'm just using some pearls right here off of a feather. You can use some strung pearl if you want to. You want to get those. I've got about 5 of them. And you want the tips fairly even. They don't have to be perfect. I try to get them so that the curve, the natural curve on these, all the hackles, or I should say all the herls, are all curling and flowing in the right direction. I should say the downward direction, the same direction. Sometimes that's a little harder than it's worth. Just take your time with it. Those are going to be as long as the belly. Both of those will be just shy of the very end of the wing. Securing that in, I'll now tie in the wing, and the wing is just 4 olive hackles. And there's 2 on each wing of an olive hackle, and then there's 1 white hackle that's slightly shorter, and that's the wing. And then there is a cheek of jungle cock. So these have already been processed and put together. I'm going to go ahead and cut the end of the racuses here shorter so that I just have a little handle for tying that in. I'll attach one side of the wing. You want this to just go right down alongside the hook. If it cants up a little bit, that's all right. You'll match that up. These, like I said, have already been processed, so the tips already match up as well as the butt ends, or I should say the base of the wing right here. So this is all matching up very nice. You do want to make certain when you tie that in, though, that it still matches up very nice. You want the tips nice and even. Now I'll cover all of this up and smooth off the head here. That doing so is going to give me a nice transition down to the eye of the hook. It's going to cover up any butt ends. It's going to make it all a nice uniform orange color. And then I will get my black thread out and I'll put a narrow black band in the rear portion of the head and then a narrow black band in the front portion of the head. Make certain I have everything covered up nice and neat. Bring my thread forward a little bit. I'm going to put some wax on my thread here. It just helps the whip finish knot to seat well. Helps to keep that thread from popping out from underneath when I go to cut it. For black thread, I'm using a Danville 70 Denier in black. Bucktail's getting a little bit wild today. I'm going to attach my black thread in the rear portion of the head, trapping that tag in as I start to create that band. I'm going to divide the head into thirds. So this isn't going to be real thick, as well as I don't want to put so many thread wraps on there that I'm making it a bulky black band. I just want it to cover up the orange thread. See, the black will cover up that lighter colored orange very easily. The orange doesn't cover the black that easy. It tends to get darker. Double check that you've got everything covered. If you do, put a little wax on my thread. I'm just going to do a 4-turn whip finish. Now I'll reattach my thread right up behind the eye. Start to work my way backwards, trapping in that tag. Trim away that tag of thread. And again, just making certain that I'm covering up everything. I've got all the orange covered. You want to take care not to bulk the whole thing up. Probably see some little flakes of wax on there. That's fine. When I put the head cement on here, the wax generally dissolves, and then with that and the 2 layers of lacquer that I'm going to put on here, you won't see those. It'll be all nice and clean. The bucktail just wants to, I got a few hairs there that are just kind of looking a little wild, at least for the video. I'm certain it would fish just fine. This is a fly-tight head cement. It's an alcohol-based cement that soaks right down in there. It's a nice thin cement, so it's going to seal up those thread wraps really, really well. And I'll come back in a minute and I'll put a couple of coats of a clear lacquer on there. And that's just to reinforce the threads. But that is Carrie Stevens green weaver. A couple of tips there on creating these kinds of flies. Interesting little fly, a lot of fun. Thanks for watching today. Thank you for joining me at the Vise today. I hope you learned a new pattern, at least a tip or trick here and there. If you'd like to help Dress Irons, you can like, comment, share, subscribe, all those wonderful things for the video. You can also head out to dressedirons.com where you can buy flies, tools, stickers, and merch, or you can join a growing community over on Locals at the Dressed Irons Fly Tying Guild. You can also donate to Dressed Irons if you want through the link at the bottom of the description. I thank everybody for their ongoing support, as it really does help the creation of these videos. But what's important is to remember, only fly tying. If you're not having fun, you're doing it wrong.